There's that big clock. It just keeps ticking and ticking away to about a block from here. So how are we going to tame our nation's growing debt? Our next guest is calling for trillions of dollars in spending cuts, and that's what he wants slashed from the budget. But exactly where would he get these cuts, and how would he make them if he were to become president? Former Minnesota governor and potential GOP candidate Tim Pawlenty joins us. Governor, welcome. Good to have you here tonight.
Oh, hi, Martha. Good to be with you.
You know, the race is, sort of starting to rumble a little bit, you could say. Newt Gingrich declared last night. I talked to Rick Santorum here. He performed well in the debate last weekend, and he's getting a little bit of attention as well. What about you? When are you going to make your decision, and when are you going to throw your hat in the ring? It certainly looks like you are.
Well, we have an exploratory committee formalized and up and running, and we'll make the final decision and announcement here sometime within the next 30 days, but it'll be soon.
And what are you basing it on?
Well, we're traveling the country, testing the waters in terms of raising money and gaining support, and that's going very well, so the signs look very positive.
All right, let's talk about this debt, because the president met with Mitch McConnell and others today, and they're trying to deal with whether or not they're going to raise the debt ceiling, and if they would agree to raise the debt ceiling if there were commensurate spending cuts. What would you have said today if you were in that room?
Well, I don't support raising the debt ceiling, Martha. I think it's really a spending ceiling. Our spending in this country is out of control, as everybody knows. One of the things I learned as being the chief executive of Minnesota and bringing the spending down in our state is you got to draw lines in the sand, and this is one of those moments. And I hope and pray that our Republican leadership will stand strong and make sure that they do everything they can to live within the debt ceiling limit, and if they have to do something with it, they should get meaningful, permanent structural reform like a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution and real, specific, enforceable spending caps and reductions.
So what would you reduce? What would you cut?
Well, if you look at a pie chart of federal outlays, the big part, of course, is entitlements. And we have to look the American people in the eye and tell them the truth. So I've been openly talking about the need to change Social Security in this manner. For people who are new to the workforce, we're going to have to gradually raise the retirement age over time. For people who are high wealth individuals who are wealthy, we're going to means test the cost of living adjustment in that program. We won't change the cost of living adjustment for middle income or lower income folks, but for wealthy people, they're not going to get as big of a cost of living adjustment. There are similar answers for Medicaid and Medicare, but we got to quit horsing around. We got to look the country in the eye, tell them the truth, they can handle it, and give specific, constructive solutions like those ones I just mentioned, not freak everybody out and scare them, but we got to solve this. The hour is late, and the country is going to go over the cliff very soon if we don't.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think about Mitt Romney. He came out and talked about his health care plan in Massachusetts. He's trying very hard to distance himself from the president's health care plan because the biggest criticism of him right now is that, he came out with basically the same idea that he's now criticizing. How did that speech go over with you personally?
Well, I didn't see the speech. I was traveling today, but I think Mitt Romney is the best person to address the Romney approach to health care. I can tell you the approach I took in Minnesota, and we took a different approach. And my vision for health care in the country is to make it more affordable, not by bringing it into government, not by having one size or limited size fits all systems, but to empower consumers and families to make choices for what's best for them. And to the extent we can afford it as a government and they need help, let's give them the help, but let's give it to them directly and empower them to make choices in a marketplace, not in some new government takeover of health care.
Does it bother you that he, is sort of called the front runner when there aren't that many people in the race yet? He obviously was in last time around. He's got a lot of name recognition. That's one of the things that people say you don't have.
No, I openly say I think Mitt is the putative front runner in the race. People who ran last time have higher name ID and some legacy infrastructure in terms of fundraising and things. We're starting in a different spot, but we're making good momentum, and I like our position in this race, moving up from second consideration into that first consideration, and I think you're going to see the momentum on our side. So I really like our position. So
you're going to go to 4 counties in Iowa this weekend? You got a busy weekend planned, huh?
Yeah, we do. You should come. We're going to have an ice cream social on Saturday afternoon in Iowa, and Martha, if you're not doing anything, we'd love to see you there.
Oh, that sounds like I like ice cream so much as the next person. So, I think it sounds like a lot of fun. But tell me, what's it like in Iowa for you when you're there? Iowans are typically very tough to convince. People spend a ton of time sort of trying to make their, get into the hearts of the folks in Iowa because they know how incredibly important they are to the momentum of any candidate who wants to win a race.
Well, you're exactly right. Iowans take this very seriously. They kick the tires, if you will, a number of times before they make a decision, as do the people in New Hampshire and the other early states as well. But it's an authentic process. It's retail. You look them in the eye, you shake their hands, you tell them why you're running. They know that we got a country in trouble. I think I can fix it. They know we got $4 a gallon gas and unbearable unemployment and a federal government that's out of control. And they're looking for a leader to do what I did in Minnesota, which is to draw lines in the sand and to get the thing back on track. And there's only 4 governors who got an A grade from the Cato Institute, and the other 3 aren't running for president.
Yeah, well, what do you make of the fact that some of the GOP leaders in Iowa have gone to Chris Christie's house? They're going there at the end of the month, trying to convince him, to change his mind.
Well, Chris is wonderful. He's a friend. I've campaigned for him when he was running for New Jersey. I had dinner with him at his place. He's a fantastic leader. He's a great governor. And, of course, many people are hoping that he's going to run, but he's made it clear that he's not going to run. But if you look at the kinds of things that he stands for and hopes to do and has done in New Jersey, I did all of them in Minnesota. I cut spending, reduced taxes, had market-based health care reform, did public employee pension reform before it was cool and popular, tort reform, welfare reform, and many other things. So all the Republicans or candidates are going to say many of the same things, but one of the questions is going to be, are you just flapping your jaw or did you actually do it? I did it.
All right. It's great to hear from you, and things are starting to get pretty interesting. Simmering along right here. Governor Tim Pawlenty, thank you so much. Have a good weekend in Iowa. Say hi to everybody there for us. Enjoy the ice cream, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right.